Chat. I'm John McPherson, and I'm here with Suzy and Sandy. Different last names now, but sisters. Mm-hmm. I would have never guessed. You can't tell at all. So now, I'm excited to have you guys on, and actually Suzy is someone that I didn't know you. Suzy's someone I've wanted to have on, and we share a common goal, and that is alcohol. That's a joke, folks. We'll talk about that. But I've known of you for many years prior to me meeting you as on the ABC board. You're pretty well known for your writing, and you write all over the place.
Correct.
So I'm excited to have you on.
Thank you.
But you guys are on as a different thing now. You guys are a duo. You're co-managers of Triad Moms on Maine.
Yep.
So Katie and Rachel are still involved, but they're taking. I know Rachel's doing some traveling stuff. I don't know what Katie's doing. I just know Rachel. I don't know if you knew that. I knew Rachel's sister-in-law and brother I went to school with.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Actually, I may have gone to school with Rachel's husband. That would have been.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
so the Hoings I went to school with at McGinnis.
Okay, McGinnis.
Yeah. So, and then, but this is a big thing, and it's really cool. So I want to talk about that, but of course you've seen the show because you've told me about this, so we'll start with that.
All right.
Sandy,
Yeah.
where are you from, and how long have you been in Winston?
All right. Well, I was actually born in New Hampshire,
Okay.
but my parents moved here when I was 3. So I just tell everybody I'm from here.
Okay.
That's all I know. You know, I wasn't born, but I was raised here.
And you're the younger of the two, right?
I'm not. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am.
Much younger, right?
So much younger.
Yeah. No, and I knew, and the only reason why I knew that you were the older one is because you'd said that you had more kids at this point, and I figured that.
Yeah.
So, but she's catching up with you.
I know.
Although I actually have the older child, one.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
She's 16.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
So you're basically from here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, born.
All right.
Not born,
And so
just
you've
raised.
been here 23 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Sounds good.
And Suzy, where are you from, and how long you been here?
So after New Hampshire, our parents moved to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and they moved from there right before I was born. They moved here. So I was born here. Just barely. I was almost born in Hershey, which
So
would
you're
have been
trying
cool.
to say you were conceived in Hershey, but
Yeah,
okay.
but it made it down here.
Sometime.
All right, cool. And so now, the next question, of course, after this is, where do you like to eat? And I've kidded with you. You've announced it on Facebook, but you're expecting your third child.
Yes.
So we'll start with you this time. Where do you like to eat?
Everywhere.
Everywhere?
Everything.
All right. Any favorite restaurants?
Um,
Without violating all the different places that you guys, I mean, you guys have to be careful on all that kind of stuff too, but I mean, just what I often do in situations like this when I had the mayor on and stuff like that, where's the last place you ate out?
East Coast wings.
East Coast Wings. Okay. All right.
Oh, man.
Sammy's going to be really glad to hear that, by the way.
I was actually in Clements. Full Moon.
Full Moon.
Do love
Now you're
Full
getting
Moon.
close to my house, so you better be careful.
Yeah, I love Full
All right.
Moon.
Full Moon's great.
And then
Enjoy
Sin
that.
Sin was another more recent one.
You know, I've been there a couple times. I always forget about that place.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'll think about maybe across the street, and then there's now that Bewley's or whatever there. And I mean, there's 3 good restaurants there. Quiet Pint.
I
Yeah.
actually went there fairly recently, too. So, okay.
All right. So then, what is your favorite thing to do around this area?
Me? I do a lot of hiking, so parks, mountains.
I want to come back to that because
Yeah.
my wife really likes to hike, and I want to hear what your tips
Okay.
are on that. Okay.
So,
I mean, I like a lot of our parks too, but I also served on the Parks and Recs Commission, so I
You've
get
been on
to
like
see
everything. We need to hear about all this stuff. I want to know how you got on all this stuff.
I just got involved. It's been important to me to be involved with, local city and government. I recently did the City of Winston-Salem University and learned a lot about our
How'd
government.
you like that?
It was really cool. I
Okay.
learned a lot.
Uh-huh.
People don't really know all that goes into running a city, that's for
Right.
sure.
I want to hear more about the ride along.
Yeah.
That was
I've done
interesting.
that. I've done that. Oh my gosh, I've done that. And I'm sure that mine was quite more different than yours. I don't think they allow what I saw to happen.
Oh my goodness.
Was it like the episode of Cops?
Oh, it was. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Dude.
Okay.
All right, so let's kind of do some backgrounds here, because as I told you, Sandy, early on, I know your sister a little bit better than I know you. So let's start with you. What put you into this position that you're now co-managing Triad Moms on Maine? So I know she went to UNCG. I know she likes to write. I know nothing about you.
Yeah, I know.
You kind of kept it really vague on there. You're just a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big part of my life.
Yeah, that is your life.
It really
And that's
is.
a full-time job.
It really
Yeah.
is.
So let's get a part-time job and come manage Triad Moms on me.
I know, why
Yeah.
not? It's kind of interesting. I guess I had started wanting to do teaching, so that's where I had started working toward. I worked at Sylvan Learning of Winston-Salem for 13 years.
And where's Sylvan at? Is that out on...
It was down the street from Wake on Renolda.
Renolda, that's right.
But they moved before Noah was born, so 2012. They moved over in like Sherwood,
right
over in that area.
Yeah, they still have some. They still have something on the door there that says this is not Sylvan Learning.
Do they really?
I think
That's
so. Yeah.
Well, they
we
were
went
there
over
forever.
there. Laura was having some issues with some reading and stuff, and we were getting testing, and it was right over there where the Sylvan Learning was to discover what she needed help with. And I mean, it's the greatest thing in the world. If you find out what the problem is, you eliminate it. Now she's reading Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, and this is in a year.
That's amazing.
So,
that was one great thing about that company, is they find out what's missing and they build on that before, they don't just slap a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
They try to build from where the lack is and go from there.
Right.
So that was great, but it also showed me I didn't want to teach in a classroom. So I just...
And it's written on the website. She realized she didn't want to teach no more.
No, I loved that setting. I loved the very small...
Notice I said no more, too.
Yeah, I
I'll
know.
wait for
You
both
did.
of you. You both are homeschoolers and going...
I know. But it was wonderful. I love that small setting. And just hearing about the bigger setting and the classroom, I'm like, nah, that's not going to be for me.
Right.
So I actually switched gears and did an associates with business. While I was at Sylvan, I'm trying to think of the timeline, I started working with Sound Leisure music production as their PR.
I think you know Liz May.
Yeah, marketing, her
Okay.
PR and marketing. So I did that and learned a lot from doing that. And then I had my firstborn. I kind of stepped away from everything. And then Suzy introduced me, because I always loved writing. I did little blog stuff and things here and there. But she introduced me to Triad Moms on Maine and suggested I try guest blogging. And I started that in 2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
All right.
And I've been just kind of doing that here and there over the years with them. And then I really focused in on the homeschooling. I started doing it's called Tinkergarten, nature education, and nature, just all kinds of nature park education for kids and outdoor stuff.
Okay. Now, did you help her with some of this stuff at some point?
Like the marketing?
No, I know the. Did you were you guys together over at Hathaway Park or one of those parks or something? What's the one that's over near?
I was at Jameson Park.
Jameson.
That was me.
Were you there? And my daughter was there.
Really?
Yeah, because I think you were there that day,
I
maybe.
don't think so.
Okay, that's weird because Jameson Park. We call it. It's the mouse in the log, because if you know what I'm talking about, they've got that log and there's a resin mouse in it. That's the mouse in the log
Very
part.
cute park.
And so I'm trying to think of the name of it. I can't remember the name
Muddy
of it.
Creek is another way to
No,
put it.
it's Jameson, of
Yeah.
course. But I'm like going, and they actually have a big ass fan there too. If you go into the shelter, it says big ass fan on it.
It is.
Yeah.
And we would have sometimes when if it was really raining hard, we were having class, we'd be in there, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad a lot of these kids can't read yet.
Yeah,
'Cause
so the mouse in the log park, and we did
Yes.
something. And I think my wife brought my daughter there.
Really? I'm trying to remember.
So I'll show you pictures
Please
during the
do.
break.
I might have them still
Yeah.
because I took pictures for the website. Oh, I love that.
And yeah, because maybe that's where my wife found it was on TMOM.
Maybe. I
you
can't
find
remember.
it?
Did I ever write anything?
I don't know.
I don't.
All right, we'll see
Maybe.
during the break. Okay. Now, so what? Before we get to her,
No.
so what is the what's your favorite piece you've written?
For Triad Moms?
Yeah. If we need to come back to it, we can.
No, I mean, a lot of the outdoor ones are some of my favorite, like outdoor spaces for kids you can do in your own backyard, or how moms that aren't really outdoorsy or into like bugs and stuff can try to help be part of that when their kids are in love with, entomology.
So, it's interesting to me though. If you regurgitate, and I have to clean it up, I'm going to throw up. if my child regurgitates and I have to clean it up, it's nothing. If my kids want to play with bugs, it's nothing to me.
Yeah.
But if I'm, what is that? I mean, and it's there's no Triad Dads on Maine either. I just want to say that. I think you guys
We do have dads blogs sometimes.
Okay,
though.
so I think you need to do like a sub Triad Dads to the thing there.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How not to get in trouble. You know? That'd be the #1 hit website in the world.
It really would be.
So, before you leave today, I want to introduce you to someone downstairs. Bobby, who works here in the office, her daughter is like, she'll like sit and draw like a wasp and it'll be perfect. Like, you know how when you see like sketchbooks?
Yes.
And they open them up and they're showing you what you're supposed to draw inside of them? This is what that kid's
Like
drawing.
those nature journals
Yeah,
you do,
it's
they're
nuts.
gorgeous.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to introduce you guys.
Please.
All right. So, we got 45 minutes left, I guess, in the show about. So let's start with Suzy, right?
Okay.
If you have to.
All right. So you go to UNC Greensboro.
So I went there for my master's. I got
Okay.
my undergrad at Coker University in South Carolina.
Okay.
It's just small.
And you like writing.
But I mean, I originally was in marketing.
Okay.
Writing was more of this side gig.
And it's become like a really big gig for you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you write for women, family, all that stuff, don't you?
For Forsyth?
Yeah.
A couple times, but I haven't too much lately. I write a lot for Winston-Salem Monthly Magazine.
That's okay. Yeah. And then you've written, because I remember so the way that I know Suzy is you were one of Winston-Salem's representatives appointed to the Alcohol Beverage Commission for the Triad
Well,
ABC.
I think we knew each other before that.
We
'cause-
did, yeah. So, but that's the latest. I'm sorry. And then I was Louisville's representative,
Yeah.
and of course I had to resign because we moved to Forsyth County and not in Louisville.
Yeah.
And then of course I saw you in your old job. You quit that job, right? Your manager job.
yeah.
Are you still okay? Because I saw you there. Because I mean that was a place to come for every birthday party once your kid turns about 4. And then I knew you from some other stuff, and I may have known you from Wendy Taylor or something
Yeah,
like that.
because I used to work at Topsider.
Right, that's it too. See,
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while. Yeah, and then you also wrote. I think Wendy. Maybe that's when you wrote for Triad. I mean for Forsyth because
Maybe.
didn't like one of her neighbors or was involved in that or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Everybody's connected.
So
against
how
it.
do you? Oh yeah, no, that's the craziest thing ever. I'd love to write. How do you write? I mean, it's incredible to me that you guys just, I can tell a story, but I can't put it on paper. And of course, my wife tells me the story is too damn long. So how do you write?
I think you have that story and you just kind of force yourself to sit in front of that computer and type it out. Sometimes I even write. Like I still literally write on paper sometimes.
Okay. And so after school, you're doing marketing. Of course, you said you work in different places around town, Topsider Homes, and other places. When did you decide to do what you're doing now, which is more of the kind of freelance writing for whoever? Hired gun. Yeah, hired gun.
So back in 2011, I started writing. It's no longer around, but there was this online site called Examiner.
Right.
And it was like Winston Stories, and that was my first side writing gig, I guess you could say.
Right.
And then I did some things for Forsyth Family and Triad Moms of Maine, and just kind of grew from there.
Right, and then you got into, you were both writing for Triad Moms on Maine as guest bloggers, right?
Yep.
And then you got into sales for them some,
Yeah.
and did you as well or no?
No.
Okay. All right, so I want to talk about some different things when we come back from break. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to talk more about Triad Moms in Maine, their new co-managers, and talk about what a heck co-manager is, too. We'll be right back with more Camel City Chat. Welcome back to Camel City Chat. I'm John McPherson. I'm here with Sandy Harper and Suzy Fielders. I almost did Fielders Harper, but it's Suzy Fielders and Sandy Harper. Got it. We're good. Sisters. Co-managers. Now, Sandy, things are great, living life, and then all of a sudden your parents bring this into the world. I mean, were you happy? Were you sad? Oh, yeah. What's co-managing like for you guys? Tell me how that all came about.
Well, you were the first to see the message.
So Katie and Rachel decided they did not want to do day-to-day anymore. They had other things they kind of wanted to try.
Well, plus, I mean, how long have they been doing it?
12 years.
12
yeah.
years. So they wanted a new approach. Yeah.
And so they first reached out to the sales team because, we know the
Right.
site best, so they wanted to see if any of us were interested. And I said, yeah. And then they're like, well, do you have anyone in mind to co-manage? Because it's such a big job. You really need 2 people.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, my sister.
And it's funny because a couple weeks prior, I was like, I'm ready to do something more. My kids are getting a little older, and we were going camping. I was like, when I get back from our camping trip, I'm going to reach out to Katie and Rachel and just see if there's anything extra they need help with. Yeah.
Right.
And then literally the day I got back, she sent that message. I'm like, well, there's fate.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'll say in my own household, I think there's really when one spouse works and the other one takes time with the family, there really is a time where the spouse that is not officially working, but I think being a stay-at-home mom is a full-time job, and yeah, I mean that's you're not going to get me saying there's anything wrong with that, okay? But there really is a feeling of accomplishment that needs to be fulfilled in some way once your kids get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember years ago, now you have 2 little ones coming. So, you got one little one here already. You don't remember this stuff anymore. No, but do you know, so it's something huge, and you say that. I mean, my wife's trying to figure out what she wants to be when she grows up again.
Exactly.
And how, what, and it's kind of like you put it out there and it came to you.
It did, really did. I loved writing, and I always have, so I dabbled with that. Tried doing my own blog, and but did a lot of the nature stuff, and and that was great, and it still is. I still do a lot of it, but I worked for so long. I had kids a little later in life, so it was just a weird piece of me felt like it was always missing.
2 things that I personally do is, like, you like to be involved. I like to be involved. I mean, I'm running for a state office in the Realtor Association. Everyone's like, why are you doing that? Well, if you have the gumption, if you have the desire, we should serve in our industries, because if you don't, someone else is going to. And I think it goes all the way back to what Plato said: if you can't criticize the government if you're not involved in it. So, I mean, I really feel that way. The other thing is with regards to ADD kicking in here, being involved, and then I will not remember what the other thing is. Can you guys help me out and tell me what it was? I don't even remember. But it's
Purpose?
yeah, probably. So purpose would be remembering what I was going to say. But that was one of the big things for me, is being involved and doing that. And the other thing with you guys that has always been interesting to me is that where you are is getting back into the game. And how do you balance it again? What's your gains from it? And what are the duties that you guys have to do with what you have to do now? So I guess start with when this came to you. Obviously sounds great. Obviously there's some financialness to it, but who does what?
Okay.
So, I mean, it's similar to what Katie and Rachel did.
And I did remember what it is now. Go ahead, keep going.
Similar to what Katie and Rachel did. I mean, it's pretty split, right down the middle. As far as, we have editorials on our website, different blogs. We also have advertisers, and we just split it, half and half.
So do you split it as in, like, XYZ is an advertiser and that's your client, Sandy? Or is it you're in charge of all the advertising, you're in charge of all the editorials?
So the sales reps are really in charge of their advertisers, and then we're the ones that put the information on the website.
Okay.
And then we do that by week. So, like, she'll take 1 week, I'll do the next week.
Yeah, we each have like our full-on week,
Right.
and then a week where we're just kind of doing some
The back
back
end,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, so one of you sweeping the floors 1 week, the other one's emptying the trash bags.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. All right, so the second thing that I was going to say is we do some things just for ourselves.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I'm on like episode 78 or 80 of this now, okay? I have like 200 people that have subscribed. I get good watches on it, but I can't get the subscription up. I do this because I love it. You guys are doing what you do because you love it. I mean, if is the success measured for you that my daughter shows up at something that you guys have advertised? Is that how you measure success? Like with me, if I get one person to watch this, learn something about you, subscribe to your much larger, much bigger, much more well-known website, then that's an accomplishment for me. If someone bumps into you on the street and says, "Hey, I really enjoyed your interview," I mean, that's a success for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it to make money, and obviously I could be doing other things right now, but I'm getting to know people across the town, and that's why I do what I do. So it's that love, and that's what I was asking earlier when I was saying, you are involved because you need to be, and the other is that you sometimes do stuff just for you.
Yeah, connections a big part of it, definitely.
So, all right, Triad Moms on Main. You guys have a website. You got the Insta,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Facebook, all that kind of stuff. All right. If someone doesn't know what Triad Moms on Main is, what is it? And just because you did that, you get to explain.
I know. I think the best way to put it, it's an amazing resource for moms and parents, moms and dads, to really know what's going on in the triad, to be involved for themselves or for their children. We talk about everything from pregnancy babies to, after the kids have left. There's always going to be a blog that somebody can relate to. And we have lots of wonderful guest bloggers and bloggers on the team that, they talk about a wide range of
You
things.
guys talk about everything from birth to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and hopefully it's never the latter, but I mean, it's how to take care of your baby if this is happening, to how to cope with the loss in the family, and I mean, and then, but see, most people don't even know that. Most people know, hey, well, that's where I'm going to go to find out where all the Christmas lights are.
Exactly. That is a big
Yes.
part of it, the Christmas lights and Santa.
Well, right. I mean, you guys
The
are the Ask
directories.
Sam moms,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Where's Santa going to be? Where's
That's a big one right now.
Just so you know, he'll be here on December 21st.
I'll write it down. We'll put it on the
11 to
calendar.
2.
Ready? We'll write that down.
Yeah, just so you know. Don't tell anybody.
Event calendar.
Yeah. So with Triad Moms on Main, let's kind of peel it back a little bit and talk about, all right, you are a company, and that company is here to make money, obviously, and one of the ways that you guys do that is providing content that people are going to come and look at, and that there are going to be advertisements. So how do you guys find your advertisers? Are they contacting you, or you have Salesforce that's going? I mean, all the above, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously, most of them are local businesses, and they want to get in front of all these moms and
Right.
share about what they do.
And so you guys come up with pricing based on impressions, or how do you guys do that?
For like the ads.
Yeah. Or you just came up with numbers and stuff like that, or it's
That
very
would be more
interesting.
you.
I mean, since it's all digital, we have, probably lower, more competitive pricing
Right.
versus the old school print style.
Right.
Those are very expensive ads.
Have you seen what it costs to put an obituary in one of the local
can't
papers? I will
imagine.
not say its name.
Oh.
You're seeing
imagine.
more and more now. When you go, they'll be posting it at Hayworth Miller. They'll just have the obituary there.
Yep.
Because I mean, it was when my mom passed away 5-6 years ago. It was like $700 or $800
Oh my
a day
gosh.
to run it with a picture or something like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
I would not have guessed
Yeah,
that
I wouldn't
high.
have guessed that either.
Just a
Wow.
tip, if you have to do a death notice or things like that, if you go to one of the outer community papers, like a Kernersville or a
The village
Clemens,
carrier,
right?
yeah.
significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, advertising's interesting. I know you both have been in that, so I didn't know, because you know what, when we did the radio show, we came up with a figure of, hey, well, this is how much we're paying a month. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you this. This is what we do. Came up with a pretty fair figure. I mean, this gets you this gets you this, and this gets you this. And so we have one advertiser, and it's Jeff Smith with Smitty's Notes, and
Smitty's Notes.
our agreement with Jeff is he mentions us when he writes something. We mention him whenever we do this. So Jeff Smith, don't forget to check out Smitty'sNotes.com. Right? And that's worked out, well. But it's interesting because you go on there and see. And I know that I have had, sometimes I've heard, well, I worry about what they're saying because that could be one of their advertisers. So how do you separate editorial from advertisement just like the newspaper does?
So we always have the disclaimer, it doesn't always reflect our own beliefs,
Right.
whatever the advertisers put. And we are more cautious, like we don't typically run any type of political advertising or things like that.
Why?
Yeah, there's places for that.
Well, I mean, like, if you recommend a restaurant and then they advertise with you, then people are like, oh, well, they're only doing it because of that. But, I've always thought that if I'm going to recommend a place, I'm going to recommend a place because I like it.
Yeah.
And if they're an advertiser, then I'm not going to have them as an advertiser if I don't think that they're good food,
I mean, most of the reps tend to know their advertisers, so
Right.
they probably would recommend them.
So how many reps do you guys have now?
I think there's 6.
Wow.
I'm like counting.
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Well, we have a
Okay.
new one that just started, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we looking for any positions? Do we need to...
I mean, if we have somebody that's good at sales.
All right.
Bring it on.
All right, well, let's take a quick break here. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more. I want to get into now when I look at the website, what do I see? What do you recommend people look for? What are the big things that people ask about? And, how to get involved, I guess, in the community, because you've talked about that, too. Because I really want to go into that as well, too. So when we come back, we're going to talk to Suzy about, get the list going, because you've been on, like, every committee. We want to talk about that. So we'll be right back with more Camel Sea Chat. Welcome back to Camel Sea Chat. I'm John McPherson. I'm here with Sandy and Suzy. S&S. That's kind of cool.
So my whole family, my kids, my husband were all S's too.
I named my daughter an S.
And her daughter's an S.
So, we're JKLM.
Oh my goodness.
Did not plan it.
cute.
So
No,
I'm
that's
John.
funny.
I married a Catherine.
Okay.
Our daughter's name's Laura. And our last name's McPherson, JKLM.
Oh my goodness.
And that's
Laura,
in order.
it is Laura McPherson.
Yes.
I was wondering. I remember when I saw your last name, I'm like, there's no relation.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
The little,
Yeah, we're Instagram friends. We talk all the time.
my wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Katie, yeah.
Let's get worried.
Do you live in Clemens?
Not anymore,
Okay.
but I did.
Yeah.
So you're Instagram friends with my wife?
Yeah.
My wife's name is Catherine.
Yes.
Okay.
And Laura's your daughter.
And are you talking about like hiking or something like that?
No, it's kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's,
I totally
there we
remember
go.
that.
All right. So you know my wife.
Yeah.
All right.
I was wondering if there was a connection.
Yep, it is. Yep. Now there is another Laura McPherson graduated from Reynolds that was my age, but
Yeah.
I don't know where she is now.
That's fine.
All
Yeah,
right,
we were
so
doing painting and all that
Yep,
together.
yeah, that's my daughter. All right. So before we went to break, we talked about getting involved, and there's great ways that you can go on the city website, the county website, and stuff like that. You can fill out whenever they're having. It's weird too because the openings aren't like when you think they'd be openings. You kind of have to stick your nose in it a little bit more. So tell us how you got involved for the first time and some of the different things you've done.
I just, put my application in on the City of Winston website to get involved with the commissions. And
Right.
so then I did the Parks and Rec first, which I really love. But, you have terms, so
Right.
they expire. So then I did the ABC board, and that's also been interesting.
Are you still on it now?
Yeah, but I'm almost near the end of my second term.
All right. Did you like my replacement? Because I picked him. I told him that he needed to apply for it. I love him also.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, what do you want me to do? And I said, look, just apply for this. I'm going to make the phone calls and tell everybody that you're applying. I said, you got to tell the mayor you want to do it because, obviously he
Yeah.
just, and he's like, it's the greatest thing in the world. Of course, I wanted to get on it because I thought I was going to get free alcohol.
That's what a lot of people
Yeah,
say.
I did. But no, that's a good group of people too.
It is. Although
Really good group.
we're still doing the Zoom, which I kind of miss the in-person meetings. But
It's because they don't want Greg don't want you in the office. He's got work to do. I said that, Greg.
uh-oh.
But all right, so that's cool. Now, all right, we got Citizens Academy that you did.
City of Winston-Salem University.
City of Winston University.
And they do that every year, so people can
Right.
go anytime.
And is that where you go and you spend time with the fire department? And you spend time with the police department? You spend time.
So all the government
Wait, it
departments.
used to be called something else.
I don't think so.
All right. So I was a JC, and we used to do training for the police. They would come and pick us up, take us to an undisclosed location. They would know our weight ahead of time, our favorite alcohol ahead of time, and then they would give you an amount of alcohol equal to 0.08 to 1 point to whatever. They would give it to you. You would partake in the alcohol. Then they would test you then they would take you home.
That's.
They knew they had trouble with me, and I think it was Stuart Belknap, but they knew they had trouble with us because they spilled some of my alcohol on the table, and you know what I did.
You licked it up.
Goodness.
And they're like, oh, God, not these two. But it was an eye-opening experience, and it makes you realize you don't have it. Because how many of our friends have, done this or done that, and, oh, I've just had one or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I got pulled over by, I think, 4 cops that night. So you sit in the, not for real. I mean, you sit in a chair and they come up and approach you and all that stuff. And one of them let me go. And I stood up at the end and I said, I wouldn't even light my grill right now. And so, I mean, it was an interesting experience. And that was a volunteer thing. And then I did a ride along with I'm a Mason, and I had a Freemason friend of mine that was like, oh, do a ride along with me. And that no longer friend took me in. I was in there when the guy was like, when they were getting him processed to go to jail.
Oh my gosh.
And they take off, and I'm like, I don't want to see this. But it's an experience to do a ride along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy your time doing it?
Yeah. So I was assigned to the District 1, which is on the north side of town. It was pretty uneventful though. We didn't have a lot going on the day I did it. So, but yeah, it was interesting, and you learned a few things. Like most of those paper tags are illegal on cars.
Right.
So yeah, it was interesting.
Oh, the dealer paper tags are illegal?
Most of them are.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna look at those different now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So we had, so I've done a couple ride-alongs, but I had Haynes Mall was where they busted this guy, and he had drugs on him, and so then they had to search him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But how about fire? Did you do that?
No, because we only had to do one, and there was not
Okay.
much time, so I just did the cops one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it was interesting to learn how much, our police force helps people. Like some of the stuff he did, he was just helping people,
That's awesome.
If you go and look at the calls, there are people that are calling 911 every month just to get help to get out of bed and stuff like that. There's a lot of phone calls that are made that are just care calls.
Service.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So Laura's friends with Jackson, our next door neighbor, and Jackson ran into Bobby Kimbrough at a football game at West, and he's like, hey, come see me sometime. So I had just done the show with Bobby, and texting back and forth or whatever, and so I didn't text him on purpose, and I show up and he's like, what are you doing here? And I go, Jackson and Laura are best buddies. He goes, well, let's go. So we got the whole tour and got to go see the 911 and all that
so
stuff.
neat.
And saw, they have cameras everywhere throughout the city that they can access, and that's how the young man that was shot in Kernersville is actually the nephew and godson of the president of this area, Caldwell Banker.
Oh wow.
Kevin. And that's how they were able to catch the guy that shot him, is they were able to connect through a Ring camera to see someone running away from the scene. And and if you reach out to the sheriff's department, you can give them access to all your cameras so that they can see someone running down the street or things like that.
Yeah, they're on their site. You can sign up to be a person that shows their
That's
footage.
neat. You see that on TV shows.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
nuts.
like
And
real.
now they got the drone and everything.
Yeah.
But Sheriff Kimbrough was telling us, as crazy as it was, he's like, I'll go to a Wake Forest game, and he goes, I came in gate 3, find me. And they'll go back, and they'll be able to put in some description for, he's tall, thin, black, whatever, and they'll be able to find him, and then they go, what are you doing in section 3? Row 25. Are you in seat 11 or 12? It seems like you're standing between two of them. It's like, what?
Wow.
If you're not doing bad, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just have gotten involved and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks for being involved.
Yeah.
So, all right. We got a bunch of things to talk about Triad Moms on Main. So when we had the ladies on the last time, we kind of got into different things. I want to go back and now get your take on things. How do you get the message out on Triad Moms on Main? Obviously Instagram, what, Facebook or website, what?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, the website. We send out newsletters. A lot of word of mouth.
All right.
So
I can just go to triadmomsonmain.com, right? And I can sign up to get the email.
Yep.
Even me.
Yep.
Yes.
You don't look at it and go, he's not a mom. I don't believe you guys. All right, so I'm going to get an email from you how often?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday I'm going to get, so I need to sign up for this.
Yep.
All right, so I get this. You know what else comes out on Wednesdays?
The
Camel
sales
City
ad.
Chat
Oh yeah.
at midnight. It used to be at 7 a.m. I'm like, Stable, put it out. I woke up this morning at 2 a.m. and I'd already have 2 views on it. I mean, that's 2 more views.
That's nice.
Yeah. So we push out a newsletter. And what's in the newsletter?
Just different things happening, events, our directories are our big thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one of the things I want to get to is what are the big things that people look for. So it's Wednesday right now that we're recording. All right. So you know that next week we're going to have the Winston-Salem Street School on.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'll be the week after that.
Okay.
All right. So what came out this Wednesday, the last Wednesday of November? What was in our newsletter? Kind of just a.
There was a lot of holiday stuff, you know,
Okay, right.
Santa events. Gosh, I don't even remember now.
I know,
There's also
like it's
some different educational events.
Okay.
Yeah, like open houses and or those
Kindergarten previews
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Have you guys seen that? Like my daughter's schools had different things happening, and now they've kind of pulled back on some of those things because I guess there's been some more illnesses going around, like stomach bugs and all that kind of stuff. Have you seen people pulling back or no?
Not really.
Okay.
No, not yet. Well, not
They're
yet.
being a little
Hopefully
more
not.
conservative. Okay.
You know, maybe it's just the winter season in general.
Now with so we got the newsletter out. Then what gets me on your Instagram page? What do you guys send out on Instagram?
Kind of everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll do the daily blogs. They'll poll. I mean, we have advertisers that want to be on there, so we'll put them on there. And then personal stuff like recipes, kids at the park. You know, advertising all the parks you can get
Things
into.
that parents want to see because they live that life.
I need to have you just call my wife is like taking pictures of food now and making really cool things. I need to have her talk to you guys. I need to have her
Yes.
start.
Send
Come
her
on,
to
Catherine.
us.
Yeah, please. Because she just, I mean, and it's great stuff. I mean, she's like, hey, I want to cook something quick today. And, you know, she's really big on healthy or something fun. So.
She could guest blog for us about these recipes.
She does a lot of great crafting stuff too, from what I remember on Instagram.
Yes.
I like
okay.
craft blogs too.
All right, I'm gonna tell her. All right, we'll have to get her, put her on the. Yeah, it's funny because when I was at street school, I'm like, you know, she tutors some too, and I'm like, well, why don't you go down there and tutor? Okay, well maybe I will. So, all right, so that's Instagram. Now Facebook, and then there's like a secret Facebook group that you have like no password to get into or something.
No password, you just gotta get approved.
Yeah.
There's
Have
some
to answer
dads
a
in there too,
question.
I was gonna say, are there guys in there?
There's dads in
all right,
there.
so I got to get in there.
Yeah.
My wife's like, is it okay if I say your name in here? I'm like, sure, because there's always hey, anybody got a good realtor to recommend?
Yes.
And she's like, well, you could probably call my husband. But you also have, I mean, I can tell that there are like 5 people in there that are in there all the time that are realtors and stuff, and they're really dedicated to it and stuff. And
Yes.
So the one thing about our chat group is, so that's one place we don't let advertisers post, but
Right.
if someone asks like, hey, I need to know a photographer, they can comment there and
Right.
recommend themselves.
that's cool.
Yeah, it is nice because that's where the moms or dads go to ask those questions. You know, I'm
Well,
selling my
fine.
house.
Yeah.
Where should I move?
Now, all right, so going back, so we've got Facebook, just a regular Facebook page, and then we've got a Facebook chat group. Then we have Instagram.
Yeah.
Have you got the Twitter?
We do, but since it's not as big anymore, we don't do as much with it now.
Okay.
We have
And then
Pinterest.
Pinterest.
Pinterest, that's you gotta pin that stuff.
Yeah.
You have to pin it.
Right, and then we've got the website.
Yes.
All right, so here it comes. What do people want to know?
What to do? That's the biggest thing.
The biggest thing.
So as we go
Events.
into December, all right, you're midway through December now when this airs. What do I want to do?
There
mean-
still should be some Santa sightings.
Right.
Holiday lights.
Holiday lights.
Right.
Parades might be over by then, but
Do you guys do a like best places to drive by holiday lights? Because you know there's that people off Darwick. Have you ever been out to that one?
yeah.
Holy cow!
We don't have any personal ones listed
No.
just because we don't
That's
know if we
something
have
you guys
permission.
need. That's something you guys
Exactly.
need to put into.
Maybe a guest blog could do that.
I think I guess.
No, let's put it in the Facebook chat group. Say, hey,
Oh, that's-
Oh,
what are
yeah.
some? As I'm driving around town, name streets where you've seen some cool holiday lights.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I
That's a
don't
good
think
one.
anybody's asked that recently.
There you
or
go.
this
So I
year.
can tell you. You ready? Peace Haven Road.
Yeah.
Peace Haven.
Holy
Yeah.
cow! Have you seen that one?
I love Peace Haven.
So it's right. So if you go down Peace Haven, so you're in Clemens and you're heading towards 421. Okay.
Yep.
On the right hand side, before you get to the graveyard, you're gonna see one that it's really better to come from 421 to Clemens because you'll see one on the left and go, man, they went crazy, and then it's like, oh my gosh, this is this person's granddaddy. They went crazy.
Yeah.
So on Peace Haven, there are a couple. There's the one off Darwick that always does the letters to Santa and stuff like that, which is way. And it's really funny because I had a client that lived next to them, and I never knew it. And then I drove my daughter out there because they do Halloween big too. And I drove my daughter out there, and I'm like, golly, did they do this when you were there? He goes, John, they did it every freaking year. It's awesome. But they have like letters to Santa, and
Oh my goodness.
they get them to Santa, and Santa replies back to every letter left
awesome.
in there. Yeah.
I love that.
It's
That's
so
cool.
awesome.
We have a neighbor down the street from us. Well, there's two. They seem to compete for Halloween decorations and Christmas. Right now,
And so what street is this, so we know?
it's in Booneville, so
That's right,
I moved a little
further
further
away.
out.
She did not say Booneville, she said Booneville.
Booneville.
Yeah,
That's it, right?
that's on the website too. How you liking Booneville?
I love it. It's the cutest little town.
Okay.
I mean, we walk to the library. We walk to the events in town. Like, we'll have like little summer 4th of July or little summer festivals, and then the Christmas parade, and it's great because we can just walk up to it.
So it's basically like a Hallmark town.
It really is.
So
it really
when you,
is.
so when you
One
guys,
stoplight.
when you guys are getting this stuff out there, it's Triad, so do we get some Booneville stuff in there?
Yeah, because it's
You
Yadkinville.
Yeah, you represent.
Yeah.
You got to. So you got. So do we go to Greensboro? Okay. High Point? Okay.
Burlington too.
All all the Triad.
So do you? Well, can't forget Kernersville either. I mean, that's the
Okay,
heart of the
Vegas.
Triad. That was for you, Brooke Casher. All right. So when we do this, I mean, you're pulling a lot of aggregate out there. Where are we getting all this information from? Are we going like 336 events? I mean, where are you getting all the counter from?
A lot of it people get to us. So we have an event page on our website, and people can submit their events. And you'd be surprised, like most people are just wanting to make sure they get their event in there. And the reps, they're spread out, so they kind of represent all the different areas.
Well, from doing this show, it's been real nice for me because I've gotten to meet some of the different people around town that I would say are influencers. Welcome to the club. And so when we had the home and garden show with the home builders, I had 3 or 4 people that were influencers come and be guest judges.
Oh,
Gave them a gift card, and all that kind of stuff. It's really neat. And I think there's so many things that are coming, like, we've got mistletoes coming up, and I mean, that's something cool that you can put out there. There's, I know that we're going to do the 5K that we did this last year for school supplies. We're going to do it again, and so that's something else to get out there. So it's really simple to just go on the website and submit an event, right?
Yep.
And how much notice do you guys like to have for stuff like that?
Well, I mean, obviously that depends on whoever's submitting the event.
Right.
Obviously, the more in advance you get it, the more people see it.
Right, because I mean, you were so kind. As soon as we scheduled this, like, well, when is this going to air? So we can get it out there. And I'm like, well, you can promote it anytime you want. But this is the day that it actually airs, but I mean, let's talk about as we get closer to the end of the show here. Let's talk about Triad Moms on Main. I mean, obviously, you guys are coming into something that is you're the new parents of someone else's baby in a sense of things. And sorry, Suzy. And so you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And so where do you take this child? Where what are successes? What are things that you guys have really that you love about it?
When someone that doesn't know about it finds out about it, because it's like a big victory for them. Like, oh my gosh, all this stuff is right here.
I'm like, you haven't heard of that? What?
Yeah, how many are you guys on Instagram now? I mean, is that your biggest followers? No.
Well, our newsletter
pull
list,
it up.
our email list probably has the most.
Okay. How many people you got on your newsletter list?
I don't know, 22,000
I was
maybe?
going to say 23.
Yeah.
22 or 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Great. Yeah.
Katie and Rachel did an amazing
Yeah.
job, and just taking on their baby is an honor.
Yeah.
Right.
and
but
exciting.
The cool thing is they're really cool people.
Yeah.
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 So, and I'm sure that they're giving you some autonomy to do it. And that's got to be nice.
Yeah.
So, anything that we need to know about the website? I mean, is there something cool happening? What's your favorite? You know, give me some scoop.
Well, not too far off is the in February.
Oh, the Choice Awards.
That's right. You guys got your Choice Awards.
That's
big.
That's
Yeah.
a big thing
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Triad Moms.
Yeah.
And Triad.
Yeah. So you guys do an awards for you guys, and basically people are nominated, and then how are they voted on?
Yep.
Yeah.
The top 3 are voted on. Yep.
Okay. Wow.
And I
That's
think there's
awesome.
like
How many
20,
categories?
20
Have
to
you ever
30
had a
categories.
dad win an award?
Well,
No.
Dad.
We don't have.
Dad
It's more
owned
about like
businesses.
your favorite place, like
Your favorite realtor.
park,
Favorite
I think realtor is on
chiropractor.
it.
Favorite, yeah.
Yeah. Just checking. I see how it is. All right, so let's talk about hiking. Where do you like to hike?
Oh, wow. Right now, I really love Stone Mountain. It's not far from where we're at. Do pilot some. We live really close to Lake Hampton
Okay.
and love that because we can go out on the, for my son's 9th birthday, I took him kayaking on the lake, and that was a lot of fun. And
I
they
got
have-
one for you.
Okay.
All right. Is it Beaver Creek? So it's up in Banner Elk.
Okay.
All right. And there's a lake there. And you go in and you give them your driver's license,
Okay.
and they give you a boat,
Like a, like what kind of boat?
like a kayak or a
Okay.
canoe.
Okay.
They don't charge you.
Wow.
They just
Come back for your license.
come back for your license.
I'll have to
That's
remember
interesting.
that.
It's like Beaver Creek, Beaver Dam,
Creek.
something. It's
I'll look it up.
I'll find it.
Banner Elk.
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
Banner Elk. You go through, and then it's like so you're in Banner Elk. You come out of Banner Elk. You're coming down the other side, and you got to go have pizza at the brick oven place there at the top of the mountain,
Pizza.
and play putt. It's overpriced, but the pizza's
Yeah,
good,
it's fun.
and the servings are huge. And then you go down, and it's and I sold 5 lots there, and I cannot remember what the name of this place is. But literally, we went in, and so we're playing, and I don't remember what happened. I was like, my wife and daughter were playing. We'd done the hike around there. It was a great hike, and I'm like, I'm just gonna rest. You guys can play in the thing. And so then it's like they never came back, and I look over, and there's this young lady named Jordan that's there with her mom, and they're from Atlanta, and they were up there for the thing with the Yellow Brick Road.
Oh
They had
yeah, the
this-
Oz
yeah,
thing.
the
It's
Oz
only
thing, Land
open
of Oz.
once in a while.
And so they became friends. They FaceTime each other still too. This girl is.
That's
but
great.
it's just a great place. But they have a great trail, and then they also have it's a boat. I mean, we went out in the
That's
canoe and
neat.
just paddled and gave our driver's license, and that was it.
I will look them up.
Yeah, it was crazy. Couldn't believe it. And then you can pay to have access to inside, and they have basketball and
Wow.
ping pong and stuff like that. So it was
Sounds
a neat little
cool.
place. Yeah. So I'll get you the name when we're done
Please.
today.
We'll write about
All right, so before we go, I always ask a couple questions. You guys have been here long enough for this one, and that is, you've seen where Winston-Salem was. You've seen where it is now. You've been involved in Parks and Rec. CG Hill, love that place. I mean, we've got the Horizons with all this stuff. I mean, they've done some wonderful things. What does Winston-Salem need? Where do you see it going? What do you want? I mean, what we're getting ready to have maybe phase 2 of Bailey Park. I mean,
Yes.
what do you want?
That's a good question.
I love,
All right, so then
yeah.
you answer while she's
I was going to
thinking.
say, I love how downtown has grown into
Yeah.
something that is family friendly, family oriented. Because I know, and you said this on one of your last posts, I think the one with Sammy, it's like back when I was a kid, you didn't go downtown. You went to the convention center if you had to.
Yep.
I think the closest would be like, I think when I was in high school I went to Ziggy's, but I think that was like the closest.
That ain't downtown. Ziggy's
No,
downtown
I mean,
now.
that's not even. So now that I don't mind, like I took my kids to that Dino Dragon thing downtown the other month, and I
Didn't know
wasn't
about that, but
scared.
I guess I didn't look Triad Moms on me.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
Have you done the cat petting thing yet, where you pay to go to the cat cafe?
No.
Yeah, there's a cat
Oh, my
cafe. You pay.
My daughter would love that.
Yeah.
She would love
I need
that.
to Sarah.
Yes.
All right, I got something else to show you after this.
Okay.
So we got 3 things now.
Yeah.
All right.
I think where it will probably go is we'll probably grow more pedestrian friendly. Like we're not really there yet, but I
Right.
feel like it's getting there.
That's good.
Yeah, I was disappointed the trolleys didn't come. I didn't want to do trolley tracks again because they tore them out when I put them back in. But I was disappointed that there was a period of time where they were trying to do some sort of bus up and down, and I can understand that. It is interesting to me how much it's developed, and when you go to the places that are the inspiration, you can see it. I mean, when you're in Greenville, you're like, oh, okay, I see that. But I'd like to see some different things happen, I guess. So I'm not going to ask you guys what you want to be remembered for. I'm not asking you that. All right. What's left or right? Wow. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Wow.
Well,
For
mine-
personally, I was going to say, go
mine
ahead.
is I'm still working on my novels. I have a few different book ideas,
yes.
and
Okay.
they haven't come out yet because I've been pretty busy.
What?
Yeah,
What, you got married, what, a year ago, 2 years ago?
2, yeah.
2 years ago, you have a kid. That wasn't good enough, you had to have another kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of starting it, but I wanted to do something for all the local parks, kind of like the things you should do,
Right.
like scavenger hunts for each individual
that'd be cool.
park, and like things that
That would be cool.
That
I
would be,
thought that'd be fun.
Yeah, we got the book there. See that, Heather? I need to get her on. She's actually, she's related to a friend of mine, so
Yeah.
I want to get her on. But
Cool.
I've had Michelle on, and it's amazing when you have these books that have just like every aspect and every asset. It's so cool. A park summary would be really cool, even
Yeah.
if it's just, if it's a white paper in a sense, or whatever you call it, like a sheet just on here's the things to know.
Downloads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start with one park.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's right.
Mouse in the Log.
Oh yeah, I know. It was
And
such
what
a
you
good
could do is
park.
you could call it Jason Park and then call it Mouse in the Log.
Yep.
Gosh, that
And
would be
then put LM
cute.
next to it.
That would be so cute. Oh my gosh.
But no, I mean, it's like the splash pads and
Oh,
different
yeah.
things like that. It's
Miller's amazing. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
I mean, you could be in 5 different sections of Miller and not know you're in the same park.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
It's
It's
crazy.
so neat.
All right, well, I can't thank you both enough for being here. This was really cool. It's nice to see you again. Nice to officially meet you. Say nice things to my wife about me,
I
please,
will.
since you guys are
Definitely now that I
IG
see
buddies.
the connection.
All right, yeah. So you can see the connection. She's complaining all the time about
No,
something.
no.
We will be back next week with more Camel City Chat. Thanks to both Suzy and Sandy from Triad Moms on Main. And, of course, also you can check them out online at triadmomsonmain.com, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Maybe you can get in that secret Facebook group. Also check out our friend Jeff Smith with Smitty's Notes. Like I said, we'll be back next week with more Camel City Chat.